Well, if you're getting closer to retirement, then congratulations. But you know what? You probably have a lot to consider, and you may be worried, and you may just throw your hands up in the air thinking, oh, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to see somebody who's actually going to plan a good retirement for me. Well, luckily, you are in luck. We have got Jacksonville's retirement coach, Adam Wolfe, with us. He's here, and he's going to help us sort through all of this craziness to do with retirement.
Yes.
And Adam is the president of Wolfe Retirement Navigation and one of the area's leading financial advisors on top of that. So Adam, you know what? I feel like financial advising is kind of boring. And I'm sure a lot of people out there do. We all feel the same, but it's something we need to do. It's important. So I figure I'll play a little game with you today. How about that?
Very cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
So we're going to say, let's call it Ask the Coach. We're going to do an Ask the Coach segment. Are you good with that?
I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay. So I've got a few questions, and we wanted to come to your new office right here in Clay County, first of all. So we've got to make sure we get that in. And I want to ask some retirement questions. So some pressing questions that I'm sure a lot of people have. So let's start with, I've got one that says, I'm planning on retiring in 6 months. What should I do with the money that is in my employer-sponsored retirement plan when I go?
Great. So a couple different options you do have, and it really depends on what your goals are and what you want to have sort of occur down the road. So if you're still working, or if you're nearing retirement or in retirement, you have the option once you leave your employer to keep your money within your employer's plan, whether it's your 403B plan, your 401k, deferred plans, those types of things, and continue to do what you were doing before. Now, a lot of times the 401k plans have limited investment options. We look at our plans and maybe there's 10 different mutual fund options. So the options are limited. The second option that you could take is rolling over money from that plan into the appropriate IRA. It might be a regular IRA, or it may be a Roth IRA, a tax-free IRA. So within IRAs, you can own a whole bunch of different investments within that, whether it's a mutual fund, a stock, a bond, a managed account, an annuity. You can own different things within there. So you start to structure and stage your retirement assets on your terms, be flexible with it. And those are the two options that we see time and time again. Now, sometimes it may make sense to stay at the 401k or that employer plan. A lot of times it makes sense to roll over that money. And when you roll it over, there are no tax penalties or taxes to be paid at that point in time.
That's good information. So really planning is important with that. So with IRAs. Okay, so what can I do to make sure I'm getting the most out of my IRA?
A lot of times when I see these IRAs, one of the big key elements is that you're paying too much. If you think about most retirements last 20 or 30 years, and if you can save 1% per year, this is the typical savings I see, or the typical difference in fee structures that I see with 401ks or IRAs between what we do and what others do. Approximately 1% a year for 30 years on a $100,000 portfolio, it's tens of thousands of dollars in savings that's in your pocket versus in the pocket of the financial investment company. So
tens of thousands of dollars I could play golf with later.
Once you hear thousands, that's one of the biggest ways to get the most out of your IRA, and then picking and choosing the flexibility of the investment options that pick and match your goals.
Okay, well, here's another good one. I like this question. This one says, I was awarded 50% of my ex-husband's 401k. However, now he is 65 and he's beginning distributions. So I'm only 58 and I'm still working. So can I defer this part of my distributions, or does she need to take it now?
Sure. So, if you have a 401k or an IRA and you're divorced, and you get awarded a portion of your husband's or spouse in this specific situation, you can turn his 50% into your own IRA. It has to be done the right way through the courts and through the divorce decree, but it can be done. So then you now control your own IRA. It's all about control and it's all about flexibility, and then you can set up and design that IRA however you want to, which is really cool.
That's really important,
and there's no taxes that have to be paid until you start distributing that money out and taking money out to spend.
Okay, and that's super important because you don't want to lose out on that money. That money is your money. You want to put it in your pocket.
It's not Uncle Sam's.
Okay, so lastly, we've got to hurry with this one, but how do RMDs work in an inherited IRA?
Yeah, so this is happening more and more and more because the IRAs are, if your loved one passes away and you're the beneficiary of this IRA, you can do two things. You can cash it out, but be taxed 100% on it, which is not very fun. But you can also turn it into an inherited IRA. And depending on how old you are, you have to take a specific percentage out of that every year. So you have to take a required minimum distribution from that. Doesn't mean you have to cash the whole entire thing out, but be wary of the rules, and it's very important to do it the right way from a transfer perspective, because if you don't do it the right way, it ends up being fully taxable, and we do not want that because you know, your loved one did not set that IRA up for the government.
Well, thank
they set
you
it up
so
for
much.
you.
This was fun, right?
That was
it was
really
a fun
cool.
segment.
Yeah.
Ask the coach.
Well, it's always
We
fun,
learned.
but this is great.
I learned. I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of people learned too as well. So, and if you have a retirement question for the coach, you can ask him yourself. All you have to do is email your question to questions@jacksonvillesretirementcoach.com. Keep your questions brief and be sure to include your name and phone number. And Adam may just answer your question right here next time on Ask the Coach, our fun segment. And you can also call Wolfe Retirement Navigation if you want to schedule a one-on-one appointment with the coach. The number to call is 904-232-8760. And don't forget, Adam has 2 locations right here. One's in Clay County and one's in Jacksonville, and that's for your convenience. And this segment was sponsored by Wolfe Retirement.